is the Reverend Dr. Frankco Harris, and I serve as the chair of the Men's Day Committee. Today is our third installment where at Mount Olivet, at the Men's Day Committee, we're taking on this issue of domestic violence in our community. Here's our third workshop. We're thankful to God that we have a church and a pastor that opened the doors of this kind of community need and resources. What we're doing here at Mount Olivet as an attack, we're preparing every member so he or she can be prepared if they receive a complaint or or even a victim of domestic violence, they'll know how to respond. Unfortunately, in our society, we read from day to day of the habit of domestic violence waging in our community, but we do not really know how do we respond. And then it might be in our own family. So here at Mount Olivet Baptist Church, heaven forbid, if you go through that experience and you need help, we have the resource to get you help in Mount Olivet. If you know somebody else who needs help, direct them to Mount Olivet Baptist Church. You are the most important soldier in this fight that we have. And I'm thankful to God again that here at Mount Olivet Baptist Church, we have the resources that we can help our people when they need help. Do not let one individual suffer by themselves or suffer alone. Tonight is a special night. We have with us the NYPD, our friends from New York City Police Department, Patrol Borough South, where the chief is Kevin Williams, and we asked them to send out the domestic violence unit. We want the domestic violence unit to come out because we know their history in intervening and preventing domestic violence, and that's our goal. Tonight we have us Lieutenant Lyle. I hope I pronounced it. He will tell you his name, but Lieutenant Lyle from Patrol Borough South, the domestic violence unit, and then we have Officer Janelle, and they're going to present tonight and tell you what they can do. And guess what? They are available for everybody in the community. We do not have to suffer by ourselves when help is available. And the words say, my people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge. Tonight at Mount Olivet Baptist Church, we want to give knowledge. Thank you, Lieutenant Lyons, sir. Thank you for coming out, sir.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for listening and coming out. First off, I'd like to thank Dr. Gaston and Pastor Harris for inviting us to come down here to speak to you. It was very important to us. First and foremost, I'll introduce myself. My name is Sergeant Lyle. I'm the Domestic Violence Coordinator for Queens South, along with my coworker, Police Officer Janelle. A little bit about myself. I began my career in a housing command in Brooklyn. I spent about 3 years on a foot post down there, and that's actually when this issue became near and dear to my heart. I actually spent a good part of this last week testifying in a tragic homicide that happened while I was working down there. And in this case, as in a lot of cases when things become this tragic, there were no reports before that. Nothing that drew attention to the house, no 911 calls. And obviously when we get down to trial, there weren't a lot. And there have been problems in the house before that. So what I'd like to stress is that we work in the Domestic Violence Prevention Unit. It's prevention. A lot of people associate the police department with law enforcement, but we're a lot more than that. So if if there's someone in the house having addiction issues, mental health issues, or if just arguments, we want to hear from you when that's happening. We want to hear from you before a crime happens. There's a lot of different forms of abuse. It's not just physical, it's emotional, it's verbal, it's financial, and otherwise. There are a lot of services that we can connect you with that are not directly in our purview, such as counseling for mental health, help with addiction issues, Office of Victim Services, if you can be compensated if you are the victim of a crime, housing, security for your house, cameras, panic buttons, and we can connect you with these services through the multitude of our partner agencies. We have brochures here that will explain those to you, and I'll have my contact information available for anyone who wants to contact me directly. And our main mission is there's plenty of going on in the world outside of the walls of your house. So being safe at home is a right. It's not a privilege. Everyone has a right to be safe within the walls of their own home. My contact information, my phone number is 718-969-8850. We cover everywhere from the Rockaway Peninsula here on 113th Precinct and up to the 107th Precinct. So I'm just going to give out some contact information. It might be a little long-winded, but just for anybody listening that wants to write it down, I can't make it out today. The 100th Precinct Domestic Violence Unit, they cover Arvern, Bell Harbor, Breezy Point, Broad Channel, Neponset, Rockaway Park, Rockaway Beach, Roxbury. Their phone number is 718-318-4251. And their next outreach event is May 21st at 207 Beach 73rd Street at 12 p.m. The 101st Precinct covers Far Rockaway and Bayswater. Their phone number is 718-868-3443. And their next outreach event is May 23rd at 711 Seabird Avenue at 3 p.m. The 102nd Precinct covers Kew Gardens, Richmond Hill East, Richmond Hill, Woodhaven, and the northern part of Ozone Park. Their phone number is 718-805-3248. The next outreach event is May 23rd at 9210 Atlantic Avenue, and that's at 4 p.m. The 103rd Precinct covers the Jamaica Business District, Hollis Park Gardens, Hollis, Lakewood, and Jamaica. Their phone number is 718-657-8954, and their next outreach event is May 31st at 17001 Douglas Avenue at 3 p.m. The 105th Precinct covers Queens Village, Cambria Heights, Laurelton, Rosedale, Springfield Gardens, Belrose, Glen Oaks, New Hyde Park, and Floral Park. Their phone number is 718-776-9415, and their next outreach event is at May 26th at 23810 Hillside Avenue at 5 p.m. The 106th Precinct covers Ozone Park, South Ozone Park, Lindenwood, and Howard Beach, and Old Howard Beach. Their phone number is 718-845-2227. The next outreach event is May 26th at 106th Street and Liberty Avenue in the shopping center there. That's at 6 p.m. The 107th Precinct is Fresh Meadows, Cunningham Heights, and Hilltop Village. Their phone number is 718-969-9097. The next outreach event is May 23rd at 6709 Casino Boulevard, and that's at 11 a.m. And here, the 113th Precinct, St. Albans, Hollis, Springfield Gardens, South Ozone Park, South Jamaica, and Locust Manor. Their phone number is 718-712-2986. And the next outreach event is May 23rd at 1112-04 167th Street, and that's at 5 p.m. And just a little bit about us. When you do call 911, even if your neighbor calls and you guys are having an argument, that does go on a report. You're still going to hear from us because we want to check in with you. We want to make sure everything's okay. You might get a knock on your door or a phone call because we want to hear from you. So again, my name is Sergeant Lyle. You can call me at 718-969-8850. My email is derek.lyle@nypd.org, derek.lyall@nypd.org. And I really appreciate you guys having me today. Is there any questions I can answer for anybody?
Button?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Doctor.
Lieutenant, could you please, you all focus on the fact that you all are doing prevention? So when
Yes.
people call you, right, it's prevention. They need help, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want calls for crimes. We want calls if there's problems in the house before crimes are being committed. We want to connect you with the services that you need, albeit an addiction issue, a mental health issue, or just mediation for an ongoing argument. We want to help at that point. We want to stop the intense emotion before violence occurs.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What does a normal phone call look like when you get a phone call? Like, what does that look like for you?
We're gonna call you, we're gonna introduce ourselves, sometimes it'll come up as a restricted number, so if you do make a report, for an argument, it doesn't always work, sometimes it'll come up restricted. And we're just gonna ask you how it's going, we're gonna ask you about the situation, and we're gonna offer you any services we can. If there was an argument stemming because somebody was intoxicated, we're gonna offer, counseling
Say my
services
call
for
for a neighbor. I don't want the neighbors to know.
You won't know, they won't know. Obviously, whoever's on patrol that night is gonna respond, knock on the door, and they're gonna take the report accordingly, even if it's an argument, a report's gonna happen, and they're gonna be contacted, not you.
The only time you might receive a call is when you first respond, just to ask you, can you just confirm the apartment number? But besides that, no one's gonna know your name, who you are, or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about
And
it.
when you speak with the operator, you can make it clear that you'd like to remain anonymous.
And if you hear like your neighbor fighting or something, you can call you and you will go check it out without me telling who's calling.
Absolutely. I mean, there are times like where no one might answer the door, or by the time we get there, nobody, we don't speak to anybody. You may get a call from somebody working in our units asking you what happened. You don't have to identify yourself. We may just ask you what you heard and what you think might be going on in the house. But it's still, at that point, you don't have to identify yourself.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How do you think the legalizing of these marijuana places in our neighborhood, do you think that will also contribute to more of us going and introducing ourselves and get some drugs over there? And the food is gonna mess our kids up. Then that might lead to.
I can't say it's gonna help. I'd be lying to you if I said that. Because that's another thing that we're gonna, that we do offer, if we connect you with an agency to give counseling services to that for somebody who can't get through a day without smoking. We have plenty of brochures here that we're gonna leave with, Pastor Harris and the doctor for, the ways we can help. Safety planning, that's gonna help you, you can't always identify domestic violence within your own homes, like, the signs, it's your own family. That'll help you do that. Definitions of violence and a strangulation brochure. Teen dating, if you're worried about any of the younger ones in your house.
Yes.
Stalking, I think everybody knows what that means. And there's a brochure that explains the law and what constitutes that, in a state. And we have several giveaways here. First aid kits, lunch bags, some other things, and a long list of contact information and all those events I just said. And we're going to leave that with Dr. Gadsden and Pastor Harris.
I also have a story. I have a coworker ex-coworker who confided in me, that she was having a situation like that. Because they share a rent in an apartment, she's afraid to move forward. So how would I try to address this issue?
I would encourage her to contact us. I'll give you my contact information. I can give you the contact information with the domestic violence unit that would be servicing her, because I'm not exactly sure where they live. But one of the things we do is help with emergency housing vouchers, so she doesn't have to worry about that. That's where that kind of falls under financial abuse. And just because one person's working and the other's not, doesn't mean that person doesn't have a right to be safe in their own
She's
home.
kind of afraid because she's not from New York. She lives here, and she's from another state, so she doesn't really have a lot of family, so she's kind of feels isolated.
I understand that, but she's living here now, and she's a New York City
She
resident.
doesn't want her job to go.
She's a New York City resident to us.
Yeah.
So we would connect her with one of our partner agencies through our crime victim advocates and help secure her an emergency housing voucher.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
When we call you and tell you about our next door neighbor who is having problems, when you do call on them, you don't call legally. You don't let them know that we recommend you to them.
Absolutely not. Like I said before, there are instances where, one of the patrol officers may respond, and then by the time they get there, they look through their peephole and they don't open the door and they don't make any noise, and we don't have a reason, we can't bust down the door. So we may call you, you don't have to identify yourself, we may call you to ask what you heard. We're never gonna tell them that you called, but we may call you just to get your opinion on what's going inside the house. You obviously come to important to call.
Neighbor from the corner.
No, we don't say the guy in apartment. Yeah, we don't say the guy in apartment 5B called last night. Yeah. Yeah. No.
They won't know?
No. They won't know.
All right.
We promise you that. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. No, we do our own version of wellness checks. If we get like a high volume of reports that came out of the same residence, there's no set definition of it. But if it's an ongoing thing, it doesn't have to necessarily be a crime. Say we got 5 reports, over the span of 2 or 3 months, we might just come visit you one more time after that last initial visit after that report, just to make sure everything's okay before we say, contact us if you need anything.
Well, if there are no other questions, of all hearts and minds at ease, once again, we want to thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Doc.
And we want to stress to everybody that's listening, we are a resource. So if you need help and you heard the question, you know somebody else need help, because people don't want to come out and say they need help. You can help them by calling the domestic violence unit. We have the information here at the church. If you come and you want to keep it confidential, you can just talk to the pastor. We don't want to know your business. You know somebody, but don't hurt and suffer in silence. And don't let your neighbor hurt and suffer in silence. Every domestic violence victim that we encounter, and they will tell you it was not done in a vacuum, it wasn't a secret. People knew about it, but did not know what to do. Don't be one of those persons. Thank you all for working with us and meeting us tonight. Once again, I want to thank the lieutenant, thank the chief in his absence, Chief Williams, Patrol Bureau South, because you know NYPD is very busy, and we asked, and they came out to Mount Olivet Baptist Church, and we are thankful. Our community, thank you, and we will contact the chief. Thank you all so much. Okay, good night.
Okay, we